Welcome to Uncommon Analysis. Today I just want to take a few minutes. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Please click on that subscribe button, like this like button, share, tell your friends about it, leave a comment. We're glad you're here. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back. All right, with that, what I want to talk today about is the 2026 Senate race. Because I think this is, I know the Democrats hope they can retake the Senate in 2026. But I'll be honest, I sure don't see a path. I didn't see a path before some things that have happened the last couple weeks, and now I definitely do not see a path. This is 270 win electoral map, and I don't think it's been updated because there's been a pretty big thing that happened in the last couple of days that I think is going to affect this race. So first of all, one thing that's bad for the Republicans is, for Democrats, is Gary Peters, an incumbent, has withdrawn and has no intention to run in 2020, which makes Michigan from being an incumbent Democrat to an open seat. Incumbency comes with a benefit, right? Unless you've done something horribly, horribly wrong, or the national winds are blowing really, really bad against you, your incumbent almost always has an advantage going into nearly every election. There are exceptions, right? There's always exceptions. People can get fed up with the incumbents that have had enough of you and throw them out, regardless of what the national trending is. Happened to Santorum's a perfect example. He got tossed by 17 or 18 points, which just is an ungodly loss for an incumbent of either party. I think it might be one of the biggest incumbent losses of all time for a senator when he was tossed. But the map right now is that puts Michigan far more in play, and Michigan, as you know, Trump won it pretty solidly. Not what's going to happen, I don't know. It's an off-year presidential election, which generally favors the party out of power, right? That's generally how these things go. It generally is a better election for the party out of power than the party that has the presidency. However, this part of the country has been trending. We just had a video this last week. This part of the trending, especially Michigan, Wisconsin, Michigan, and PA, has been trending more and more right. The upper Midwest as a whole has been trending more and more right for a long, long time. I think Michigan is probably out of play for Democrats. They're going to make a play for it, but I don't think they can win it. And there is some real foolishness being talked about by Democrats of running Pete Buttigieg here, which I think if they do that race won't even be within 5 points. I think Buttigieg will get his ass handed to him. I think the Democrats are beyond foolish if they run him for several reasons. The biggest being this is not a part of the country that's going to the carpetbagger is going to be embraced. You want to take a carpetbagger as a Republican or Democrat and you want to give them a free seat, you got to do what they did with Hillary. You got to put them in New York or California or Oregon or some real deep area. You can carpetbag them anywhere you want. You're not carpetbagging into the upper Midwest. In the Rust Belt. It ain't happening. Look what happened to Oz. They tried to carpetbag him into PA, and he got trounced. And he ran against a guy who literally had a stroke and could not campaign. And they spent hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to try to put lipstick on the pig that was Oz, and it went nowhere. Now, Oz was a bad candidate for a lot of reasons, but the carpetbagging just does not sell up here. This is not a place you want to be carpetbagging. So if the Democrats decide to run Buttigieg, I think it'll be a disaster for them. I don't think that race will be inside of 5 points when it's all said and done. In fact, they did a poll. Somebody actually did a poll on this, and they polled Mike Rogers versus Buttigieg, and they found that even right now, Rogers is up 47-41, right? It's not even close. Now, granted, 2 years could happen. Here's 47-40. Now, granted, it's almost 2 years away. Things could change. The dynamics change. But there's no way Buttigieg is going to get that seat if they run him. Not a chance in hell. Democrats may want it. They may like it. It's, just like he's a nobody. He's an absolute nobody. He was a mayor of South Bend, Indiana, who would not have won re-election, who somehow thought he could parlay the fact he was gay into a viable presidential candidate. And he got his ass handed to him. And, of course, the Democrats' bench is so weak, they stuck him into the transportation secretary when Biden took office, where he failed miserably there, too. Remember he was supposed to clean up the ports, right? How long that lasts? He was supposed to clean up the supply chains. We're still dealing with supply chain issues 4 years later. He was a failure. He was not going to sell. The Democrats might like him because he checks the boxes and that's how they operate mentally, but that is not going to work. You are not going to be able to force this guy into a Senate seat in Michigan. he will lose and lose big. So if they run him, Michigan is definitely out. Now, one other thing that happened this week, a more important thing, is Minnesota, Tina Smith, who's a sitting Democrat, has decided she's not going to run for re-election either in 2026, which means this state now goes from a incumbent Democrat to an open seat, which means nobody's got the incumbency benefit. Now, Minnesota is a blue state. It is trending more and more right over time, but it is not as right as these other three. But I would still say that puts that in play. That takes that from, almost certainly going to be a Democrat win, right? I think they had it as a lean initially. Let's reset the map. Yeah, so right now it's a lean before and I don't think it's been updated since she announced her leaving. But this was going to be a play. Republicans are stupid not to make a play for this, but I think the fact it's now an open seat makes that even more a possibility. So that takes care of these two states, right? These are both open seats, no incumbent. The other three in play are Maine, which has Collins as the incumbent, as Republican, Tillis in North Carolina, which is a Republican incumbent, and Ossoff in Georgia, which is a Democrat incumbent. Tillis won a very close race last time, presidential year against his party, right? Biden won, things were going against him. Ossoff won as well in 2020, but he squeaked by with his party winning the national election. I mean, he squeaked by. So I would say, Ossoff, I say, is an underdog holding his seat. He could do it, but I think he's definitely an underdog to hold that seat. Collins, she somehow wins. Her last win was a solid win, but it was not as big a win as previous elections, but she's still a solid win. She angers a lot of Republicans, but she seems to win. Could she get beat? Yes, she could. But I would say the chances of her losing are not that great. Tillis is real close. He definitely squeaked by last time. But again, that was a presidential year with Democrats winning big at the national level. So we'll see. I don't see anyway. Right now, the Republicans have, 53 seats, right? So Democrats have to win 4. They have to win 4. Well, guess what? There's not even 4 on this map for them to win. There's not 4 places. We put Minnesota, we say, okay, the Democrats hold on to the seat. We say the Democrats win the open seat in Michigan. Ossoff manages to hold on in Georgia. All those 3 of those states are currently Democrats. There's only 2 states they could possibly gain in. So let's say they take out Collins and they take out Tillis. They clean sweep the toss-up states. Guess what? Republicans still have 51 seats. I don't think there's any play for Democrats to regain the Senate. I don't see it. In fact, I see at least even odds that Republicans could theoretically gain a seat, because if they hold North Carolina, they hold Maine, they clearly have a shot to pick up Michigan, especially if Buttigieg runs. Michigan's Republican, period. Take it to the bank. And I think Ossoff is in big, big trouble. I don't think he's going to be able to pull off a win again, even as the incumbent. We'll see, but I don't think he's going to win. If I had to put money on how this election was going to play out, I'd say Republicans may even gain a seat when it's said and done. I see the odds of Republicans gaining at least 1 seat in the Senate are better than Democrats taking a seat away at this point. Now, 2 years is a long time. 2 years long. Democrats, 2 years, or it could remain even. It could be, hey, they take those, and then Democrats do take out Collins, and Tillis doesn't hold on, right? And it stays even. There's a lot of ways this could play out, but the big thing I say is I think, without question, there's no path for Democrats to regain the Senate. I'd say the odds of Republicans gaining seats in the Senate or Democrats gaining a seat in there are probably about even right now. Maybe even a slight tilt to the Republicans could pick up a seat. I know it's a midterm election. They tend to favor the party out of power. But when you look at this map and you look at where the Democratic Party is today, the Democratic Party today, now 2 years is a long time. It certainly could change, but their brand is absolutely in the toilet right now. Absolutely in the toilet. So I don't see this midterm, especially at the Senate level, in any way, shape, or form, where the Democrats are going to have any prayer at retaking. Maybe gain a seat, two tops. Then I think that's, stretching it to get to there. House is a whole other story. That's a whole story. But that's what I think for 2026. I think in 2026, Republicans are easily going to hold on to the Senate. I'd say they even could gain a seat or two here, depending on how things go. So anyway, we got 2 more years before we get there, but that's my initial thoughts. What are your thoughts? If you feel differently or agree, leave a comment. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I hope you guys have a great one, and I am out.